hoping that everyone can hear me. If anybody can hear me, please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I am going to... Oh, good, you can hear me, Wayne. Thank you for being here. I am trying to put in a green screen that I am going to put in behind me here. Let me try this. There we go. So I've got a green screen. This isn't working very well, so we may have to take off the green screen because I'm in my car, and so I was trying to have a green screen behind me, but I wasn't planning on being in my car. So hi, Tumbleweeds on Fire. I am in Maryland. I'm sitting in my car under a tree. And that's why I'm trying to have some coolness in my car. But this green screen isn't working, so we may have to take off the green screen. Let's try it here. We're going to go no green screen. We're just going to go with the car. We're just going to go with the car today. And so, I am in Waldorf, Maryland. I'm coming up from Virginia, because I'm coming up from Alabama, but I'm heading to Silver Spring. That's where I'm going to be. Oh, so you like the car green screen. You know, it was good, except that there's that shakiness in the background of it. You know, so the green screen will be better when I'm in my hotel room next Friday. I did pass your house. Hi, Rhonda. I am doing a road trip to Maryland. Hi, Andy. And so I was just meeting an old motorcycle riding friend here from the Buffalo Soldiers, and he's still doing taxes, even though he's long since retired. So he's real busy in tax preparing season. So I'm going to come back and visit him on Sunday evening. But then I have old motorcycle riding friends here from my motorcycle club here in Maryland that I'm here to visit. And I'm also visiting friends. So anyway, we were just at the restaurant, and the restaurant had a 40-minute wait just for breakfast. And I said, I can't wait because I have to do my live, you know, and it was a very busy restaurant here in Waldorf, Maryland. So, so you're heading north around the 20th. Well, I'm heading to North Carolina on the 20th. So we might meet on the road. You never know. Well, we are going to do, my friend and I, we're going to do the Golden Corral on Sunday evening. And I have another motorcycle riding friend that I used to ride with. I was going to bring him, but he has to go to the doctor on Monday, so he can't eat on Sunday evening. So these are all the plans I'm trying to make while I'm here in Maryland. But almost every day that I'm here until the 20th is booked. So, you're heading to South Dakota. See, that's going to be fabulous. And I want to know everything that you do in South Dakota. You know, hi CL Fantasy Waves. Today's live is from my car because I'm traveling and I haven't quite made it to my hotel yet. And so I just pulled up under a tree in this shopping mall parking lot. I'm behind a restaurant that's being renovated. So it's sort of quiet back here, but there was a big old tree to give me some shade. And so I said, that's it. I'm back here. Now, there is a duck or a goose out here. Y'all might hear him. He's just walking around the parking lot here, you know. And so I heard him quacking a little bit earlier. And so y'all might hear him. But what I wanted to talk about this morning, which is totally unscripted because I'm traveling, is taxes. And because this is tax season, and my friend that I was meeting here is a tax preparer, and he's got clients, and his clients are, and I don't know if my friend is 90 years old. He's got to be close to 90. and he's still doing taxes. And so anyway, I'll have to ask him when I see him on Sunday. He could be in his mid 80s, but he's up there. He is getting up there, and he's a retired police officer. He's retired military. He has retired from a number of different things, and he's still side hustling. And so that's what this life is all about. And back here, hopefully this is quiet. We won't have, we had a bunch of cars racing out on the road down here in Waldorf. Some, what were they, Chargers? I think they were Dodge Chargers. We're out here racing. Hi, Julie. No, you're not late. I haven't really started yet. I'm traveling, and so I'm in my car doing this live. And so what I wanted to talk about today is taxes, because I paid my Alabama state taxes before I left a couple of days ago, and I left on Wednesday the 8th. I think it's the 10th now. So I paid taxes on the 7th. The day before I left, I paid the Alabama taxes, which emptied out my emergency fund. And so this is what I'm trying to share with you all, is that this year's tax season is going to be a big hit on my finances. It already is a big hit on my finances. I should be getting in my rental income in the next day or two. It's not going to be a lot. I don't know what happened this month, but probably a lot of maintenance things. So it's not a high income rental month. However, I'm going to take whatever extra money I have, and it's going to go back into my emergency fund. And so that's why I wanted to talk to everybody about taxes. And so I'm trying to get you all to input, what kind of tax season you're having. Have you finished your income taxes yet? Are you expecting to get a refund? Normally I don't get a refund, but normally I do not owe this amount of taxes. And so I will be honest with everyone that I spent a traditional IRA last year in 2025. And so Julie is saying that she had to pay a little. And I remember seeing that on your video, on your channel. I'm having to pay a lot, right? Because I cashed in an IRA from some, I'm trying to explain this. It was from a loan that I was lending out money, right? And I stopped lending money and said, I'm just going to cash in whatever cash I have left and close the account. And so I did that, and I didn't pay taxes on it. And so Tumbleweeds on Fire is saying that he wishes that refunds were in his cards. Yeah, they're not in my cards. Boy, it looks like most of us are having to pay. Oh, and Tumbleweeds is saying Maryland was 50% of the taxes I had to pay in 2025. Yeah, I'm in Maryland, and I tell you, there were speed traps everywhere. From the time I crossed over the Virginia border, there were cops on the side of the road with speed guns, hiding in like parking lots of little restaurants on the side of the road. So Maryland is one big speed trap. Plus they have cameras all over the place in Maryland. If you come to Maryland, do the speed limit, because they got me for a speeding ticket the last time I was here. I was just driving in a neighborhood going to visit a friend. So it's looking like most of us are having to pay taxes. And I'm going to get back to telling you guys my terrible tax story. Don't do what I'm about to tell you guys I did. So what happened was I had this traditional IRA that I was using to lend money out to people. And I decided in 2025, that's it. We're done lending money. We've lost a bunch of money, or we're not expecting to ever get that money paid back to us. The money hasn't been lost yet. However, the chances of me getting it back slim to none. And I'm just not waiting any more years for that money to ever come back. And so hopefully my volume is good, because I have no idea what goes on, whether it's the speaker in the car, or I don't know where, the sound is going into the phone from. But anyway, so I took the money that I had left, right? And it was a $13,000 tax bill had I paid the taxes at the time. And so I said, no, I'll pay the taxes throughout 2025, but I'll take the full amount of income and I'll invest it and buy more rental properties. And I just said the cash flow will pay the $13,000. Well, life happened. Unplanned things happened in 2025, and that $13,000 was never paid. And I'm trying to see who said this. 1 second. Oh, Tumbleweeds on Fire said, with luck, we will be South Dakota residents this month, 0 taxes for state. And so that's one thing that you can do, is to change your state, right? I was listening to, let me finish my story, because if I don't finish my story, then I can't tell you the other story of this podcast I was listening to this morning. So I think that I'm going to pay this $13,000, right, during the year. Well, I didn't pay it. And not only is it like $13,000 plus penalties for not paying and blah, 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 but also my rental properties, I bought more rental properties in 2025, made money. So we're actually making money, which is new for me with my rental properties. And so even with all the deductions and everything, it's more than double the $13,000. So it's a big bill. It's a big hit. And so I have a check already written in my car to pay the IRS. So I've paid the state of Alabama, which was at least 4 times higher than I've ever had to pay the state of Alabama. Now I've got a check here in my car that I'm going to put in the mailbox on the 14th to pay the federal IRS. Now, I had to take the money from my lines of credit, and then I have to pay back my lines of credit. So that's going to be my 2026, is paying the IRS and my lines of credit, through my lines of credit. So I've got a lot of lines of credit that I'm going to be paying back, and that's my taxes. But I need to tell you guys about I'm going to try and read the comments here. So we're talking about taxes. Hi, Demetrios Smart to Glue, 1976. I totally messed that all up. I totally messed up your name, and I do apologize. But it's Demetrius. And Demetrius is smart. I'm like putting it all together. So anyway, I've got a lot of tax money to pay this year. Now, you could look at this 2 ways. You could say it's a blessing that I have the money to give the IRS, even though I have to pay it back. It's also a blessing, and excuse me if I have sniffles here this morning. I took allergy medicine, but still, I'm going to have sniffles here in the car. It's a blessing to make money and have to pay taxes. Good morning, Lisa J. We're talking about taxes this morning and whether or not you're expecting a refund or whether or not you have to or are expecting to pay the IRS this morning. I'm currently in Maryland, and I'll be here for the next 10 days or so before I head down to North Carolina to visit more friends. So excuse me while I have the sniffles on camera. I don't know how to do this correctly, except to have the sniffles on camera. So we're talking about taxes, and I've mentioned that I've had huge tax bills this year. Now, what this means to me is that I have hit bottom with my finances, right? We talk about hitting a bottom with things in our lives, where we say we're not doing that anymore. And Lisa J. Stocks is saying both small refund from the state and payment due to the federal. That's normally what happens to me is I get a refund from the state of Alabama, and I use the refund from the state of Alabama to pay the federal government. That's typically how it happens. But this year in 2025, I spent a lot of money and that I had not planned on spending. And so, anyway, yeah, I had not planned on spending the money. And I thought that I put my phone on focus. And I'm not seeing the focus. And maybe that's why I'm getting these notifications. And I hope they don't mess up my live stream. So I'm going to drink a little bit of coffee. I don't have much left, but I'll try and sip a little bit so that my voice doesn't start to go. And I'm still having sniffles here, so excuse me, everybody. But yeah, we're having sniffles here. So anyway, I have a lot to pay in taxes and a lot to pay back, but this just adds to the amount. Let me read a quick comment from Tumbleweeds. I pay federal taxes, and then Maryland comes in and says, "Hold my beer." Oh, I get it. I get it. You know, yeah. My tax bill was 4 times higher in the state of Alabama, and then it's double what I expected to have to pay because I totally underestimated the federal government. But I also underestimated the rental properties that I bought in 2025 are actually profitable. So I'm starting to have a decent rental income. It's up and down, it's variable. But at least I'm starting to have a decent. Yes, Lisa, I did. I drove up from Alabama, so I'm still in southern Maryland. I still have to get to Silver Spring near DC to get to my hotel after the live. So I'll still be driving farther north. I was just meeting a friend on my way up down here in southern Maryland. And so the point of all this is that, one, I'm trying to be transparent to everybody that I really messed up in 2025 as far as not paying the taxes, thinking I would pay them, but then life happened. My life just took a left turn in 2025, and I never was able to pay the taxes. So I've hit a bottom. I've talked to you all about how I'm going to start paying down all my debt. Well, now we just add taxes and lines of credit, which is what I use to pay my taxes, to that. And not only that, it was more than my line of credit that I had available to me. So I just got in my Social Security check like yesterday, and I used the whole Social Security check, plus I'm maxing out my line of credit. So the money is already going to start paying it back. Any money that comes in is going to pay back taxes. Well, and see, tumbleweeds on fire is true. This is a blessing that I'm paying taxes on profit on my rentals. So that's part of it. You know, 13,000 of it is what I didn't pay. So I have to pay that plus penalties for not paying it. The other part to all of this is that I'm going to start paying quarterly taxes. And some of you might say, you should have been paying quarterly taxes all along. Well, I never have. So 2026 is my first year of changing how I do my finances to do them more correctly, which is that, one, I'm going to pay quarterly taxes. 2, I am going to rebuild my emergency fund and build it up higher. Thank goodness I had the emergency fund that I only started, I believe, in 2025. And that emergency fund was enough to pay the state of Alabama taxes. And my friend said, Daryl, it's an emergency. That's what an emergency fund is for. So I'm grateful that I started saving some money in 2025. I'm putting some of it back from my rental profits for this month. It's not going to be much. But whatever I have as cash flow this month goes back into my emergency fund. And so my plan, which who knows how this is going to actually work month to month. So Tumbleweeds on Fire said, if you only knew how much I paid in taxes in 2025, it would make you choke on your coffee. That's right. I believe you. I believe you. Yes, I did. I drove up from Alabama to Maryland. Excuse me. Need more coffee. So it's been a 2 or 3 day drive. And while I've been driving up, I have stopped at parks randomly. Like I stopped at a park on the north side of Atlanta, and it was a wildlife park, which was just beautiful. And then I stopped at a park as I was getting gas yesterday in, I think, North Carolina. I think I was in North Carolina, and went and walked my mile, because I'm doing 1 mile a day every day for 30 days. I have not done my 1 mile yet today. I think what I'm going to do is get to the hotel after the live, get checked in, and then go do my 1 mile walk. So, but yeah, I need to get to my hotel because I've already been on the road for 3 or 4 hours today. And so, yeah, we need to get this car unloaded and get in there. And so, so going back to how I plan to pay off not only the line of credit, which just adds to the debt that I was already planning on paying off. And so because my teaching income is down, I'm down to 1 class right now. That's all I'm teaching, which is almost nothing. I've taught 6 classes, 10 classes, and then you're going 24/7, when you got 10 classes going. Although the money is great, you're just working. Well, right now I'm down to 1 class. I had a class in a couple of days ago. And so since that class ended, I'm down to 1 class. Now I've got classes that start up in May. So the middle of May, I start up again. And that increases my income. But what I've looked at is how the colleges are going to pay me. Like the class that just ended a couple days ago, they're still going to pay me for a couple more weeks. So I'll still have income. Now, the way that my colleges work is that when I have these 2 colleges, they pay on opposite weeks, every 2 weeks. And so hopefully, don't forget to hit the like button. I always forget to say that. So the way that the 2 colleges pay is they pay on opposite 2 weeks, which means that I should be getting a check every single week from now at least until August. So every single week, I will be paying a little bit on my debt. Now, what that means is I've got credit card, I've got 2 lines of credit that I need to pay on, plus I've got the quarterly tax payments and my emergency fund. So it's a lot of ways that the money has to go. A lot of different places for my money to go in 2026. Not to mention I'm traveling right now, and I'll be traveling in May, and I'll be traveling in June. So I won't be putting 100% of that money away. But if I was able to live on, let's say, 10% of my income, this may make it like 25% of my income. So 75% of my income should be going towards debt paydown. And in the summer, I'll have 3 or 4 classes going, meaning more money coming in to pay down debt even faster, or to build my emergency fund even faster. So I'm scrolling back up for a second. Let me see. Nope. That was Nightbot. And so, if you type fire, it will put your channel out there so that you can connect with other creators that are here. Tumbleweeds is asking a question. Oh, he said, he said, "Do you want to be my sugar daddy? I need a weekly allowance. I need to borrow money from you, you know, because Tumbleweeds on Fire, he and his wife Felicia, they retired much earlier than I did. I mean, they just did it correctly. They did it correctly, um, which reminds me that we have to look at my various different streams of income, right? In order to sort of get an idea of my goal, which is at a minimum to pay $5,000 a month down on all of this debt. And it seems like to me, it seems like $5,000 a month, even if I'm traveling, is a lot of money. But I have a massive amount of lines of credit debt, credit card debt. It's massive. Um, can I pay it all off in 1 year? If I'm aggressive, that's what I want to do. And the problem is I get too aggressive for my own good. I want to pay double on this and triple on that. And it bites me. It bites me. I need to be more even keeled about this. And so that's what I'm looking to do. I've got friends that I talk to about my finances, and I'm going to talk to them and try and find out a more balanced approach where I'm not killing myself every time money comes in. I paid off $7,000 in March, which really helped. It helped because I knew that this bill was coming in April. I didn't know how big it was, but I knew the IRS was going to be knocking on my door in April. And so I said, well, pay as much as you can in March, and then when they hit you in April, just start over again in May. So that's my plan, really, is to tread water in April and then start swimming in May. And so that's why I wanted to have this live about taxes, is because I wanted to be honest, that I made big mistakes in 2025. And like I said, it's a bottom so that I don't make these mistakes in 2027, 2028, 2029. We never, ever want to revisit this. And that's why I'm going to be paying quarterly taxes. Tumbleweeds on Fire says, but you are taking care of the debt, so that's a good thing. But remember to enjoy your life. Don't restrict yourself to pay it down 100%. You are so right, Tiger, because that's what I'm really trying not to do. I'm trying to have a more balanced approach. I have the income, right? When we look at my streams of income, I've got a pension, I've got Social Security, I've got teaching income, and I've got rental income, right? So, but I want to travel. And like I said, I'm going to these parks and just walking around the park, seeing beautiful places. I want to visit state parks as well. I want to see beautiful places going forward. And I want to stop and smell the roses. I no longer want to teach 10 classes where I'm just stuck in front of my computer for 12 hours a day. I don't want to do that anymore. Will I do that? I would do that if they were offering it to me because I need the money, right? So in the past, I needed the money just to pay regular bills, regular mortgage in Maryland. When I lived in Maryland before, property taxes are high in Maryland, as Tiger knows. My mortgage was high in Maryland, as Tiger knows, which brings up this podcast. Now I'm sort of going away from taxes and talking about this podcast that I was listening to. I listened to a lot of real estate investor podcasts. And actually, another side story, I'm going to meet a guy here who has a rental income podcast on YouTube. And he lives over in Virginia. And so I'm actually going to meet him for breakfast one day while I'm up here. So that's going to be neat, to meet other YouTubers, while I'm out traveling. And so anyway, I was listening to this real estate investor podcast thing that I listen to. And they were talking about how property taxes are just outrageous and how some states are looking at eliminating or reducing property taxes. Now, mostly on your primary residence, but it could affect real estate investors. And so he was talking about New Jersey and New York as being some of the highest in property taxes in America. And then he said that Alabama is in a league of its own. And I was so happy to hear that. You know, I think it's like 1.5%, don't quote me on that, of your property you get taxed in like New York and New Jersey, but they have super high priced properties, right? He said Alabama, 0.035. They do not charge high property taxes in Alabama. And I can tell you that about my rental properties is that while it's a big bill every year because I have a bunch of rental properties, it's nothing compared to Maryland. You know, if I had rental properties in Baltimore, which is where I was looking to invest before I left Maryland, it would be much higher. It would be much higher in Maryland. He said Alabama just doesn't believe in charging people property taxes. You know, so I am in the lowest property tax state where my rentals are and where I live and where I retired. So therefore, I made a good choice in moving from Maryland to Alabama. They don't tax your pension, your government pension. Social Security, I haven't been taxed on yet. But at some point, I have to get on Medicare. And I want to do the no harm, hold harmless provision, I guess, which is that I have my Medicare come out of Social Security, and then therefore they can't raise your Medicare premiums higher than the COLA of your Social Security, as opposed to you paying it by yourself on your own. Then they could raise it, you know, every year. So that's a phone call that I need to make in the near future. I looked it up last night. I have to call Social Security to make sure that when Medicare starts, they pull it out of my Social Security check. So what that means is my Social Security check is going to get smaller in the future. And so, you know, all of these different things about my finances are what I'm trying to tell you so that when you see me paying down debt the rest of this year, you say, well, he had a big bill. He had a big bill to start with. And so, you know, one of the things that I do is one would be the debt snowball, like the Dave Ramsey thing. But I'm going to take it one bill at a time, you know, and I don't know which of the lines of credit, you know, I want to pay off, because as you pay off a line of credit, whether you know this or not, I'll try and explain real quick. When you pay off a line of credit, you have that money available in case of an emergency. So in case of an emergency, you know, I have to put a roof on a property this month, meaning that my rental income is going to be almost nothing. If not, I'll have to kick in a little bit, right? Because I got to put a roof on a property. So, and they've already told me about that. So I'm ready. I'm prepared for that. But the more I pay off on my lines of credit, the more emergency money I have in case something happens. And so the question is, which lines of credit get paid first, whether my credit card keeps getting paid down. Because I'm traveling this month, I want to cash flow my travel, meaning anything I put on my credit card, like my hotel today, I need to take that money from my next paycheck and put it on my credit card. So the paycheck that comes in Friday, what happens is I get paid every Friday, then I get paid the next Thursday, then I get paid the next Friday, then I get paid the next Thursday. And that's how it works. So every Friday and then every Thursday of the following week, I will be putting money on debt. and paying off either my current debt, like trying not to go deeper in debt, right? And so that's going to be it for the rest of the year for me. My 2026 has been hijacked, and that's okay. That's okay because I know that in 2027, my life is going to be a lot better. And so I'm okay with everything that's happened this year. I mean, it hurts, don't get me wrong, but I have the income to service the debt. That's not an excuse for getting in debt. Just because you have the income to service the debt is no reason to get into debt. I just want to be clear about that. But I do want to be clear that I'm blessed that I have the income to service the debt. I still want to get monetized on YouTube, and I still want to donate the money. And so somebody might say, well, you need that money. You need that money to pay off your debt. No. I would not take my YouTube money because my channel was started on the premise that this is a charitable channel. It was never, ever meant for me to have any income from this channel. And I felt that way, that I would not have started a channel if I didn't have a mission. And that's my mission statement, is to donate the money to charity. Why I rode with the Buffalo Soldier Motorcycle Club, to donate money to charity. A lot of my life is to give back to those who are less fortunate than me. I have been less fortunate. People have fed me. I have fished for food. So I know what it's like to be less fortunate. And so I am so grateful that I have the life that I have today. I have to tell you guys that with all my financial struggles, right? Because here's the deal, we're all financially struggling. Everybody has their own financial struggles. It may have more zeros or less zeros, but we're all trying to, one, get out of debt, two, pay off our homes and those kinds of things, and three, build wealth. So if you think about this, and this is the way I think about things, is the more I pay down my debt, the higher my net worth grows. And so with rental properties, I have renters who are paying down my debt every month. Then I have my income that I'm using to pay down my personal debt. So with all of us working together as a team, we're growing my wealth. So at the end of 2026, I expect to be wealthier than I am right now. And that's because of debt paydown. And so we're not buying any more rental properties. We're all done doing that. I promised you guys that, right? That's my promise to everybody on YouTube. No more buying rental properties. It's all about pay down the debt and then pay off the rental properties. And there are these three phases to real estate investing. And before I get into that and talk about that, I need to bring up a point that Lisa J. Stocks brought up after last week's live that I did, where I talked about what is the best thing to invest in first, real estate or the stock market. And my perspective was that real estate would be the best thing to start with, because you could start with a little bit of money. You could borrow 75% of what you need to invest. So you're only putting out 25%, but you control 100% of the investment. Well, Lisa came up with a perspective that I just didn't think of. One, I'm old and retired. I did not think of the children. So Lisa brought up the fact that if you're investing for your children or your grandchildren, you wouldn't start with real estate. You can start investing with them in the stock market when they're born, when they're less than a year old. You can open a custodial account and start investing for your children. You can't open a real estate custodial account. However, I did think of this, and she has a very valid point. If you have children, you would start with the stock market. Now, if you are a real estate investor, what this one guy did that I follow, he bought a 4-unit rental property for his daughter when she was born. And he said by the time she's 18, because he got a 15-year mortgage on it, he said by the time she's 18, this 4-unit rental property will be paid off. Now, that's a whole different deal when you've got money to do that kind of thing for your child, right? Buy them a rental property and pay it off by the time they get to be 18. But for most folks, that's not reality. So I would recommend what Lisa J. Stocks said, which is, one, you start small, $5, $10, just monthly, dollar cost averaging. That's the word I was trying to think of. Doing dollar cost averaging over time, every birthday that the child has, in my case, grandchildren. So I'll say grandchildren or children. And I have lost track of the thing because it started moving. My chat wasn't moving. And so I thought nobody was commenting, but you guys were commenting, but I hadn't moved it. I hadn't hit the button on it. So excuse me for not knowing my phone. So anyway, Lisa is still here. So Lisa had a very valid point, because she does this with her daughter, is that you can invest in the stock market, and that growth over time is staggering. I watched the Money Guy show, and you guys have heard me talk about this before. If you start investing when you're in your 20s, now this isn't even talking about when the baby is 1 year old. I would do that if I knew what I know now. I would start investing when the baby's 1 year old. But if you start in your 20s, by the time you reach retirement age, that $1 grows 88 times. That is a huge amount of money that you put. For every dollar you put in, it grows 88 times. And what that means is that, let's just say, over the years, you put in $150,000. That $150,000 is $2 million because of compound interest. Now, if you had the money to buy your daughter or your son or your child or grandchild a 4-unit rental property and have it paid off by the time they're 18, they'd be pretty much set for life. The income from that would pay for their college. It would give them income on top of whatever job they have. And they could take the income and invest it in the stock market. So, and Lisa is saying, oh, hi Out with Key. Great to see you. Let me see. I'm backing up because now I have to go back and see what Lisa. Oh, and Allison Mapp is here. See, and I missed some people because I wasn't watching the chat. It wasn't moving. Hi, Oki. And so I didn't see a bunch of people come in. And so I'm just prattling on. And people were talking in here. And so, oh, thank you, Tiger. Yeah, please hit the like button if you can. We got 14 likes. At least that's all I can see. And you guys know I don't really understand the whole phone thing, but I'm trying to scroll back. And I see now where Allison and Key came in. So, Key, I'm coming to Charlotte after I leave Maryland. And so I don't know if I can buy you and your husband dinner when I get to Charlotte, but I'll be there for a few days. And so we will see. I have my email address in my channel description. I don't know why it's really hard for people to find it in there, but it is in my channel description. And so I can buy you and your husband dinner when I come to Charlotte. That's what I like to do. Because, as I mentioned earlier here, that people have fed me. In my days where I had to fish for food and people knew that I didn't have any food at home, people took me out to dinner. And so I like to do that as a way to pay it forward. So I love taking people to dinner. So I'll take you and your husband to dinner if we can connect in Charlotte. But please email me if you can find my email address. It's always hard. It's always hard. So Lisa retracted a statement. I'm trying to catch up on the chat here. Oh, Lisa's saying hi. I'm catching up, everybody. I'm so sorry about all this. But anyway, oh, Tiff is here. Hi, Tiff. So Tiff's Take is here. You guys really have to check out her channel. She has really good information about YouTube analytics and that kind of thing. I don't really understand the YouTube analytics. And so I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask a question here because I can. I'm live, and I'm hoping that Tiff or someone else can answer this question because I have the question and I've never really seen anybody answer it. So if Oki is here or Tiff is here, I hope that one of you two can answer my question. This is about analytics. Tiff taught me to go and look at the advanced analytics to see my watch hours. However, if you click on the little dollar sign in YouTube Studio, there's an earn thing there. And it shows your watch hours that are calculated, right? Your verifiable watch hours. But the numbers are different between the advanced tab, where you can just click on lives and videos. So not your shorts, just lives and videos, and then you add those two up. Tiff taught me how to do that. But then there's the dollar sign where it says verifiable watch hours. Under the earn tab, the little dollar sign there in YouTube Studio, the watch hours are different. So I don't know which of those two to rely upon. Because Wayne at Fairbrook Studio, okay, so YouTube is 5 days behind on the earn tab. Okay, so, well, Lisa, it's in there, and I don't know why people can't see it. It's like how to contact or contact me, and then my email is in there. I'm going to have to figure something else out because everyone tells me they can't see my email address, but I don't know where else to put it except in the description of my channel. And so, and I could find it there, but nobody else can find it there, and I just don't understand it. And so, okay, so I'm seeing here that the earn tab is 5 to 7 days behind. So where Tiff taught me to go, which is you click on the Advanced tab in YouTube Studio under Analytics Advanced, and then you go over to Content, and there's a selection there like Type of Content. And then I click on Type of Content over there, and then it shows 3 different check boxes. One for shorts, one for lives, one for videos. So you click the 2 check boxes for videos and lives, and then you add those 2 watch hours together. And so I give that information to Wayne at Fairbrook Studios, and then he puts it out to help me try to get more watch hours by telling people Ninja has, 1,400 or 1,500 watch hours. So I'm at about 1,500, so I've got a ways to go. And that's okay because I'm retired, I'm lazy, and I just don't care. This is not a money-making thing where I'm using the money to pay down my taxes. Any money that I make in the future, and maybe we'll do it in 2026. Maybe we'll get monetized in 2026. So in 2027, as I pay off my debt, I can also use my YouTube income to donate money to charity. That would be a great present and gift to myself for 2027, would be to get monetized. And so Allison Mapp is saying, be honest. Are you saying to be honest about my watch hours? I'm not sure. And Wayne, thank you, thank you, thank you. Wayne, I sent you an email. I've got to check my emails because I did this whole laundry list of questions for you in an email. And so I'm going to check my emails maybe tonight when I get to the hotel because, like I said, I only have the one class going. So I'm all caught up on my grading, and I'm just taking it easy. I'm going to go into my phone, and this is what I've been doing every day. I go into my phone when I'm parked somewhere and I say, park near me. And it shows me a really nice park that I can go to that's within 10 minutes of wherever I am. Excuse me. Need more coffee. Scratchy throat guy over here. Please type fire in the chat because I'm not seeing people type fire and get their channels out there. And I want everybody to get their channels out there. Because one of the things with me and Wayne at Fairbrick Studio is we are about supporting others. I spend more time watching and supporting YouTube channels by playing their playlists. And when I'm at home in Alabama, I've got a TV. And Okies Eden taught me how to get on YouTube on my TV, which I never even knew I had the ability. And so now I can watch YouTube on my TV. So I can play your playlists on my TV. Plus, I'm also playing them on my phone. So Tiff's Take says screenshot his email. It's Gmail. So Tiff, I don't know if you could put my email in the chat. I don't even know if I have the ability to type in the chat on this phone. Boy. If anybody here, somebody here between Wayne or Tiff, they have my email. So they can put my fire with dr period ninja turtle at gmail.com. There you go. There you go. Oh, thank you, Tiff. So Tiff typed it. Thank you. So that is my email address. And so please email me. And I'm hoping to meet you and your husband in North Carolina because I'll be there for a few days. And then I'm heading off to Asheville because I've got another friend in Asheville, North Carolina. And then after that, I'm heading home because I was actually asked to speak at a speaking engagement on the 29th of April. So I have to be home by the 29th. So there you have it. At first, I didn't have any date to be home. I left on this trip not knowing what date I was going to arrive back home. But I received a text message asking me to speak at an event in my town on the 29th. And so I looked at all my stuff and said, I think I can make it. I think I can get home by the 29th. And so that's my life. My life is going to be, you guys are really going to see this, that I am going to start stopping to smell the roses in life. I am no longer going to go at 100 miles an hour. I'm going to do walks in parks. I'm walking my 1 mile per day, at least 1 mile per day. The other day, I only made it 0.9 miles, but my average is 1.6 miles. So sometimes I'm doing almost 2 miles in a day. I'm going to keep doing that. It's starting to become a habit, and that's what I love. Just like visiting parks is starting to become a habit. Never done that before. And it's such a blessing in life to just stop and walk through a park. I mean, I just never knew how beautiful it was. Now, I will say I have allergies, right? So I take an allergy pill, and then I go walk through the park. There we go. Thank you, Tiff. She just put my email here in the chat. And I have no idea why YouTube says put this in your channel description is like an option, and yet nobody can find it. So I don't know if I should put my email like in the video descriptions. Tiff, Do you know if that works? If or if YouTube blocks it, if you put like you have your what not your tags, your hashtags. You have hashtags in the description of your videos and your lives, of which I'll be doing the one for this live once I get to the hotel. I sort of did this on the phone, so I don't have my thumbnail. I don't have my, and I apologize to everybody about my thumbnails, right? Just real quick about the thumbnails. I know they're boring. I know that they are not what YouTube says thumbnails are supposed to be, okay? But I am retired, I am lazy, and I have no desire to spend time making a thumbnail. So I have a thumbnail template that I created, and I changed the picture, I changed the wording, and we post the thumbnail, okay? All right, 2 minutes or less on my thumbnails. That was my goal when I started this channel. I said, we are not going to spend hours and hours and hours on this channel. We're just not. And so I'm holding to that. Because I'm retired and I want to enjoy life, and YouTube will never, ever be a job for me, except on Friday mornings. YouTube, these lives have become a job for me on Friday mornings. My whole life revolves around Friday mornings now. And so that's the only job part of this. Other than Friday mornings, nah, I'm going to go walk in parks. That's my future. My future is nature trails, parks, national parks. You know, if I can, I'm going to meet Tiger at Tumbleweeds on Fire. I'm going to meet him and Felicia at national parks as our paths cross across the U.S. So they are in their, not RV, it's an overlander, I think it is, called Tumbleweeds on Fire. And so as we crisscross the country, I'm in a Honda Accord, as you can see, and I just go stay at the Holiday Inn Express wherever I'm going, and they got tons of them everywhere, right? So, and then, okay, last little thing before I end this thing is I get to this Holiday Inn Express last night, and because I'm a platinum member, I'm not up to their top tier yet, but I'm getting there. Because I'm a platinum member, I get extra points every time I stay at a Holiday Inn Express. And so the lady behind the counter, she says, well, if you're going to stay more than 2 nights and you hang that tab on your door that says only change my towels every 2 days, right? You get extra points. And nobody ever told me that before. So I can get extra free nights worth of points just by telling them change my towels every 2 days, by hanging this little green tag saying we are saving the environment, you know, on my door. And since I'll be here in Maryland for 10 days, that's 5 extra points times 500 points, which is a lot of extra points. That's almost a free night stay. So somewhere along my trip here, I'm going to get a free night or two, which will save me a couple $100. And so I need to save money because I'm paying off debt. So that's what this live was about today. It was about talking about how I messed up my taxes in 2025, how I am still in full debt payoff mode. It's just a lot more debt now. And so I'm going to be a lot more focused. After June, I'm not traveling much, I don't think. No, wait a minute. See, I'm traveling in May. I'm traveling in June. I'm traveling in August. See, I am a retired guy that just travels. But when I am not traveling, those are going to be full debt pay down months. So after August, so September through December, and more likely September through March of next year, is going to be all debt pay down. I'm going to be sitting at home, not buying any more real estate, and and just, you know, not traveling unless I get some free rooms somewhere, you know. And sometimes Tiger, I met him and Felicia down in Louisiana, if they come back down to Louisiana, I would travel from Alabama to Louisiana to see them. So that's a trip that I may take. But for the most part, no more travel after August. It's all debt pay down for the rest of the year. And in the in-between months when I'm not traveling to visit people, it's debt pay down. It's debt pay down. So I just want y'all to stay with me and follow me. I know my hour is up. So I want y'all to stay with me throughout this year and hopefully cheer me on in my debt pay down. I'll pay as much as I can while still having, and see, I've got to go to a friend's YouTube video right now that just dropped. But I hope that you'll stay with me and watch me do my debt pay down for the rest of this year. Sometimes it'll be just $1,000. Other months it's going to be up to $5,000. But every month there will be debt pay down, no matter what. So I want to thank everybody for coming. I went a little bit over my hour here, but I'm going on with my vacation here in Maryland and meeting people from YouTube all over the country, because that's what I want to do. So this is my life. It's a beautiful life. It's just a beautiful life. And thank you all. I'm just so grateful that the live didn't drop this week. I had a good signal with, Verizon. I'm with Verizon. So I had a good Verizon signal here in Waldorf, Maryland, which is where I am right now. So I will talk to you all next week. I'll try and put out a video at some point during the week, maybe another walk and talk in the park like I did the other day. If I find a beautiful park to walk in, I'll get my camera out and we'll do a walk and talk. So yes, CL Fantasy, it's going to be a great year. And CL Fantasy is just south of me, maybe about 2 hours. I would say about 2 hours away from me, south of me. So I hope someday to get down there, because you're only 2 hours away. So 2 or 3, maybe 3 hours south of me. But I hope to get there. And then last thing I'm going to share, then I'm going to shut up, is that there is another YouTuber in Atlanta that I may go visit on my way home from Asheville, North Carolina. So that's it. I am out here. Hey, Mike, thank you for coming by. I'm just starting to end the live because I've been going for an hour now. And so I've got to get on to my hotel and everything. Thank you, Mike, for coming by. I will watch everybody's video and everybody's playlist. There you go. I am Wayne with Fairbrick Studio. I am his unofficial assistant playlist watcher. There you go. I have dubbed myself his unofficial assistant. Thank you all, and please hit the like button on your way out. I have 15 likes. Fabulous. You guys are just the best. I really appreciate your support. Thank you all. See you all next week, and hopefully some videos coming out this week. Bye.